right. That's a thumbs up. Now I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't read much once I step back if I don't put my glasses on. Alright. So I've gotten questions regarding the whole wig thing. And a lot of what I'm doing with this one to modify it. So we're going to go back to that, and because I haven't finished it. And I'm in the right spot. I say secondary workspace because you'll notice in some of the broadcasts we have two different workspaces, and then we've got our home space where we live, and that's when locations will always be off. But the secondary web space is the clean space where we don't have, well, you can tell I was at the other space earlier because, well, there's not much left of this shirt. But yeah, secondary space doesn't have the big machines, doesn't have the CNCs, doesn't have the cutters, doesn't have all the things that can make something like this a really, really, really big mess. Now, last time we had this wig on air, we were experimenting still with it because it's the silky fiber from Arda Wigs and Arda Wigs Canada, and it's a very new thing for me. And it's supposed to be able to take heat. And I was really, really, really nervous because I didn't want to melt and ruin the wig and destroy it. And it's not something I realized it's actually a lot more tolerable than I thought it was. The fibers, I pulled out my old curling iron that is ancient and discovered it's not hot enough. Home curling irons back when I bought the thing in the early 80s never got as hot as professional curling irons for some reason. Well, they probably didn't trust us, you know. We were 80s kids, what do you expect, right? So, what I did was I had a gift card left over from Walmart from Christmas. So I went and got a brand new curling iron, and this sucker gets hotter. I wasn't going to invest in little foam curlers because I've got the Velcro ones that I use for my hair when I need to. So I didn't want to spend more money. So I did discover that if you just want little sections done, use your finger. You know, or the little wire curl things with the foam on them. Not the foam, the rubber on them. And that's fine. They'll be tight, but then you can pull them out a little bit. So, and I discovered that, so I tried a little bit on the other fibers because I have older wigs from them before the silky was introduced. And discovered that those fibers do just as good, they just don't stay this shiny. And the curls didn't stay in as well. So there's a few sections here that I haven't done this with yet. I actually wound up pulling the curl out of the original wig, which was not what I wanted. I just wanted a nice gentle wave. As you can see, I succeeded in some areas. I'm still contemplating whether or not I should bother bringing the curling iron with me. Don't know yet. So, I'm just waiting for the curling iron to heat up. Again, brand new curling iron. It's blinking, so I'm assuming it's not at its maximum temperature. It's an interesting iron. It's definitely not what I'm used to. I'm used to off, low, and high. This has got a little dial, so you can actually control the temperature. So I've got the dial very riskily, and there's an interesting word, very riskily set to the highest maximum heat, because according to the webpage, these can take up to 400. I don't remember if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, but it's the same as whatever this is. And this sucker goes only as far as 385. So hopefully we won't melt it. It's kind of weird for me to be able to actually curl and work with artificial fibers. You know, it's the first time I've done any wigs outside of the ones that I bought back in the 80s and the 90s. So it's a whole new experience, and the fibers are so different. I considered real hair wigs, but those are really, really, really expensive, especially for a costume. But you can see I managed to get the tight curls that it came as to relax a little bit. And of course the trick is going to be getting into the con. Yeah, I think the hearts are the same color as the purple highlights. Look at that. Actually, yeah, it is. Brilliant! Brilliant! So I discovered that, yeah, if you're patient enough, just use your finger and get them nice and tight and then pull them out to whatever loose. Does it stop blinking? No, it's still blinking. How long does this sucker take to heat up? Well, thankfully I had that gift card left because Really, I didn't have the budget for a curling iron after I got the wigs. That was kind of like my whole budget. Oh yeah, what conditioner am I using? Well, Arda Wig sells this, mane and tail. Apparently there was too much reflection on the last broadcast and people couldn't read it. And yes, to answer another girl's question, you can use it on your own hair, but fine thin hair like mine, this only makes it really thick because it's designed originally for horses. So it's designed for things that are thick and coarse, and my hair is so fine it would just weigh it down and make it super, super heavy. So that's what Arda does. I've got a few other conditioners and shampoos that I've been using that are left over from old wigs, but I took a peek online. I can't seem to find them anywhere. So the products I've got, other than that, is old. People like Arda Wigs are really, really smart. They have color wheels, so you can buy samples of the colors that you're thinking of, and they come with little clips with their code number on them. And so that's what I did. Last time they were in town, I waited till the end of the weekend and bought some of their samples so that they can use them over the weekend with everyone else, and then just pick them up. And it helps a lot because then you can take your own camera and you can walk out with the sample into the light, and just make sure that, especially with Arda, that you tell them whether or not you're after the Silkies, which is what this is, or their original classic, because they've got two different fibers. I really love the way the Silky looks under the camera. Yep, this is going to be the most relaxed finger on both my hands. With the bangs. Well, the idea is to just get the wig on my head and then just pin it before putting the before putting the crown on, and hopefully it'll stay. Oh, awesome! Hey, hi! As opposed to, you know, so fascinating. But I know, isn't this a fabulous wig? Get it in before it's... and the iron goes down. No! No! Not enough. Caught my hair. Yes, a hair and a prayer. Cool off, cool off. Here we go. Let me know when you're done. That's an interesting little piece that's decided to curve its way around the chin. You get yourself into it. Alright, let me know when you're done. Happy things. Hopefully. How did you choose red and purple? Well, you know, Irish, right? Red? And to have a secondary red as a highlight, just nah. Irish red, that's right. So, and then purple just seemed the natural highlight, because it's a fairy. Almost time for new ones. Look forward to seeing photos of you and Martin in costume. See, this is why there's a dog at the other end, at the other place. Because he's just as rambunctious, but not as curious. That's not bad. Looks great, thank you. Well, what I'm going to need to do, and this is part of the reason why I got one with a scalp cap for this one, is because we're going to need the elven braids braided in down the front. That's my elven piece, right? So you can see the difference in space between the foam head and my head. That's, if I push it to the back, that's how much bigger my head is. I can fit my hand in there. I can even fold my fingers and push away from the wig. So yeah, Yeah. Can you add padding later to foam head? Well, again, I'd be spending more time later. Yeah, I'd be spending more time doing that than getting other things done. So what I think I'm going to do is put the 4 front braids in that sit underneath that layer and just forego the back braid for this convention. Finishing the end of a braid without an elastic. Okay, you get most of the way down. Take some thread that's close enough to the same color. Okay. Find the middle of that piece of thread. Wrap it around twice usually. Hold it alongside one of the sections of hair that you're braiding. Hold the other one along a different side of the section of hair you're braiding, so one section won't have a thread on it. And continue braiding. Now you're braiding that piece of thread into the hair. Now the best reason to do this is, of course, this is going to more or less disappear. And elastics tend to deteriorate the rubber. Great braiding work. Oh, I've been braiding hair. I used to have hair down in my butt. Okay, so now you've got your 3 sections of hair at the bottom. And you can see the thread is hanging longer than the... So you just basically pull all 3 sections together. Grab the threads. Separate the thread from... Can't see against my black shirt. Separate the threads from the hair. So now you have 2 threads that are woven into 2 different sections of hair. You're going to wrap one around one way, nice and tight, and wrap the other one around the opposite way, or when you tie them, they're not going to finish your end. As many times that you feel comfortable doing it. So now you got it wrapped around. We need better light on this. And then you're going to tie a knot around the hair, nice and tight. Once you get that first tie, you can, I always do it a few. Cut off the excess so it blends in with the rest of the hair, but don't cut right to the knot because you want to be able to take the stress. Sometimes I take a little gel to get it to go down. Sometimes I just leave it if it sits by itself. And there you go. No elastic. It holds it just fine.